The diner was unusually quiet that afternoon. The rain outside tapped against the windows, filling the silence with a steady rhythm. Inside, a young waitress named Elena moved quickly between the tables, her notepad in one hand, and a polite smile on her face. She was only 23, but life had already demanded far more from her than her age should have allowed. Her uniform was neatly pressed though faded, and her shoes carried the wear of countless long shifts. Elena wasn't just working for herself, she was working to keep a fragile roof over her mother's head, to pay medical bills that never seemed to stop, and to hold together a life that seemed constantly on the edge of breaking apart. That day, when the doorbell chimed and a tall man in a tailored suit walked in, Elena noticed immediately that he didn't belong to the usual crowd. His presence filled the room with a quiet authority. He was a billionaire named Richard Harlow, known for his empire of luxury hotels and investment firms. He rarely went unnoticed in public, but here, in this small-town diner, only Elena seemed to recognize him. She approached his table nervously, her pen poised over her pad. "Good afternoon, sir. Can I get you something to eat?" she asked softly. Richard glanced up at her, his deep-set eyes reflecting years of ambition and battles won. "Just a coffee for now," he replied. He seemed distracted, as if his thoughts were far away. As Elena poured his coffee, her eyes caught something unusual. On his left hand rested a ring. It wasn't just any ring, it had a distinct design, an antique piece with a small emerald stone set into a circle of gold. Elena froze for a moment, her heart racing. She had seen that ring before. Finally, unable to hold back, she whispered, "Hi sir, my mother has a ring just like yours." Richard looked up sharply, his expression shifting from indifference to curiosity. He studied her face for a long moment, then the ring on his hand, then back to her again. "Your mother has a ring like this?" he asked, his voice low but edged with something Elena couldn't quite place, shock, perhaps, or recognition. "Yes," Elena nodded, her voice trembling slightly. "She's had it for as long as I can remember. She always told me it was a gift, from someone she once loved." Richard's hand tightened around his cup. A flicker of memory flashed across his eyes, but he quickly masked it. He didn't say another word at first, but Elena noticed how pale he had grown. She excused herself to serve another table, but Richard's gaze followed her every step. When Elena returned, Richard asked carefully, "What's your mother's name?" Elena hesitated. She had no reason to hide it, but something about his tone made her wary. "Her name is Maria Lopez." The moment the name left her lips, Richard's cup slipped slightly in his grip. Coffee spilled onto the saucer, but he didn't care. His mind was somewhere else, racing backward through decades he had tried to forget. Maria Lopez. The name he once whispered under the stars, the woman he had once promised forever to. Before life, ambition, and his family's disapproval tore them apart. Richard cleared his throat, trying to steady himself. "I knew a Maria Lopez. A long time ago." Elena tilted her head, her curiosity now burning. "Really?" "My mom never spoke much about her past. She just said she once loved a man who left, because the world told him they didn't belong together." The silence between them grew heavy, as if time itself had paused. Richard's heart pounded in his chest. He wanted to ask, needed to ask, but he wasn't sure if he could face the answer. Finally, he whispered, "How old are you, Elena?" 23, she said. His throat tightened. 23. The same number of years since he last saw Maria. His hands trembled under the table. Could it be? That evening, after Richard left, Elena went home and told her mother about the strange encounter. Maria froze when she heard the name Richard Harlow. Tears filled her eyes as memories long buried resurfaced. He was the love of my life, Maria confessed. But his family thought I wasn't good enough. I was just the daughter of an immigrant seamstress. They forced him to leave me. I never told you because I didn't want you to feel abandoned. The ring he gave me. I could never bring myself to take it off. Elena sat stunned, realizing the truth. Mom, do you think, could he be? Maria shook her head, though her lips trembled. I don't know. But even if he is, it doesn't matter now. We built our life without him. But the thought wouldn't leave Elena's mind. Days later, Richard returned to the diner. This time, he wasn't there for coffee. He asked to meet Maria. The reunion was emotional, filled with tears, unspoken apologies, and painful memories. Maria admitted how much it had hurt, but also how she had survived. Richard listened, his heart breaking. He had built empires, conquered the business world, but in losing Maria, he had lost his soul. And now, standing before him was Elena, his daughter. The truth unraveled slowly, painfully, but undeniably. Elena was his child. For Richard, the revelation was both a blessing and a torment. A blessing to finally know her, a torment for the years he had missed. He wanted to make things right, but trust was not easily earned. Elena struggled with resentment. Maria feared history repeating itself. And the world? The world would never let a scandal like this go quietly. Challenges they faced. Elena struggled to accept Richard as her father. She couldn't forget the nights she and her mother went hungry, the endless hours her mother worked just to survive. Maria had to open old wounds, reliving the heartbreak of being abandoned by the man she once loved. Richard faced public backlash as his past relationship came to light, threatening his carefully curated image as a ruthless, untouchable businessman. But through tears, fights, and long conversations, something began to change. Richard didn't just throw money at them, he showed up. He sat with Maria through her medical treatments. He helped Elena with her studies, encouraging her dreams. Slowly, painfully, walls of resentment began to crumble. The road wasn't smooth, but step by step, they found a way to rebuild not the life they lost, but a new one. By the end of the story, Elena stood on stage at her college graduation. Her mother sat proudly in the front row, and Richard, no longer just a billionaire, but a father, clapped with tears streaming down his face. As the applause filled the hall, Elena looked at them both and said, "Life is unpredictable. Sometimes the people who leave come back. Sometimes the pain we carry becomes the path to healing. And sometimes, rings don't just hold memories, they hold the truth." And with that, their story was no longer about loss, but about love rediscovered, wounds healed, and second chances embraced. Closing call to action for your channel: be kind always. Friends, what would you do if you discovered a truth like Elena's? Would you forgive, or would you walk away? Share your thoughts in the comments below, I'd love to hear your perspective. If this story touched your heart, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel Be Kind Always, and hit the bell icon so you never miss more inspiring stories like this one. Remember, no matter what life throws at you, always choose kindness, because kindness has the power to change everything.